What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. Back-to-back days of great trailers. Had to change up the schedule because my dumbass didn't realize that we'd reviewed a movie that we were planning on doing today. But thankfully, Jeremy was here to set me straight. What would I do without my hetero life mate? But the Jurassic Park trailer finally dropped. A cool movie to talk about, and I have all the coolest people here to talk about it with me, as always. Starting with my hetero life mate, Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start making a list of our catalog because this is starting to get insane.
We're starting to get deep. We're getting kind of deep.
Yeah, it's that list is getting longer and longer, and I'm going to have to start doing some record keeping because holy hell. But yeah, I'm excited to. I know we just totally tricked everybody. We're not talking about the hunt right away, but we're going to talk about some dinosaurs, which I'm just as equally excited about. Yeah, so. Let's kill some rich liberals and talk about dinosaurs, which is probably still one of the same sentiment. But yeah, let's go.
And our own favorite deplorable, the shape of the Lone Star State, my man Tex. What's up, brother?
You know, I would say that this panel was controversial, but Frank is Mexican, so I think we're fine on the diversity here. I think
we have to have one person of color.
We have one. You know, we have one, so the DEI, goblins can't come and find us. But as this movie states, white people are the worst. We're just horrible. But what are you gonna do?
And we can't talk about anything with scales that eats other human beings the size of buildings without our own resident dinosaur expert, Fruity Gamer. What's up, brother?
No, I'm here, man. I'm fucking hyped.
It's the dinosaur man.
Yeah, he won't be here for the whole show, unfortunately, but I could not do a breakdown of the Jurassic Park trailer and not have him here even just for a few minutes. And let's get right down to it before we get to the review. The Jurassic World Rebirth trailer dropped today. I've watched it yesterday rather. I've watched it a couple of times. I'm kind of into it. It did leave me with some questions, but for the most part, I'm ready to go. Let me go to you first, Tex. Give me your quick thoughts on the trailer.
Well, my first thought was, is this a Tomb Raider movie? Like, that was my first comment in the little group that we had, because kind of looks like one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Jurassic Park fan. Obviously, that's Dinosaur Man over there. That's his stick. But yeah, I mean, it looks fine. It doesn't really look much different than the last three that we got, and I didn't really care much about those. I'll go see it. Scarlett Johansson is enough to get my money, but whatever. It's it kind of looking like it's going to be one of the girl boss kind of things where every man in the script is kind of inept, and Scarlett Johansson has to be the one to save them and do the things. But whatever. So we'll see how it comes out.
I don't know. Jay, how about you? We've seen the trailer now a couple times each. Give me some quick thoughts on the trailer.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it just one time and thought, wow, that's cool. No, I think I spent more time looking at and analyzing the pictures that Gamer sent me they were just some of the same shots from the trailer. And I think right off the bat, I'm like, it's 1 second in, and I'm already like, hold on. Why is the original banner there? Why does this look like Jurassic Park 1? I'm like, whoa, I have so many questions about this already. But if it's another couple years down the line, I guess, in terms of it, they're not like separate trilogies. This is one long story, but this seems to be the more current era of this story. And I don't know what we're exactly doing. I guess like Tex said, I'm like, all I see is Scarlett Johansson as a nondescript badass.
It's the next Avenger to fight the dinosaurs, Jeremy. It's what it is.
It's probably there's comic books are so crazy. There's probably dinosaurs in the Marvel universe 6185334. I don't know.
There you go. I'm talking to the dinosaurs right now. I'm Chris Pratt.
Hey. Wait a minute. Hey. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I get the roles. It's like obviously there's like the Pushel Pencer dude who has no idea what he's fucking doing or why he's even on an island full of dinosaurs. So you need badass ScarJo to come save their tail. I mean, I don't even know if I was kind of confused. I'm like, does she know what they're doing? Because it seems like these guys, these mercenaries, and they seem like they know where they're going or what they're up against at least. But it'll be interesting because I'm wondering if we finally bring to light the fact of the last time we even saw anything about, not only is there a second island with dinosaurs on them, there's a chain of 5 islands all in this little area. So I'm like, why don't we ever just expand to that? Because you have to think that they had other stuff going on in those islands. Even if it's gonna be the dumb trope of like, hey, the farmer guy from Babe, that'll do pig, he was there the whole time. The whole time. You're just too stupid to notice, or because we didn't write it until just now. But whatever. Okay, there's a third island now.
Super easy, barely an inconvenient.
Yeah, there's a third island. There's 5 in this little chain, so I don't know. I'm kind of curious where we go with this.
Now let me get to the expert, the guy who's got dinosaurs all over his house. Get me, Brooding Gamer. Obviously, you poured over this thing. You being the big Jurassic Park guy of the channel, give me some of your thoughts on the trailer.
Well, I don't mean to plug my own channel, but we did a whole breakdown, a whole 20-minute breakdown of the entire trailer on my channel, which surprisingly did very well. But I had a lot of worries when it came to this. I know there's been a lot of people thinking that this is just going to be another Jurassic, because Jurassic World, ever since we started throwing dinosaurs into our environment, a lot of people thought that would be cool, and it didn't work out. So they made a comment to new director and everything. It's the guy who actually did Godzilla, so that's why our new elephant in the room kind of resembles a Godzilla monster. But they wanted to take a step back and make it feel like the originals again. So that's why we're focusing on an island. And like Jeremy said, you know, we've got the 5 deaths. I'm going to try this: Sorna, Nublar, Matanceros, Muertos, and Takano. I'm getting laid tonight.
God bless you.
With those, you know, we are bound to go to one of these other islands. You know, if John owned 2 of them, it's probably he owned all 5. So he probably used, as they state in the trailer, this is where the original Jurassic Park scientists worked and everything. Before they did all of the cloning and stuff, they worked on this island and then set up shop permanently in the other island and then sent everything over to that island. So it's just a weird Amazon chain of events here. But I'm excited. I think we've got a lot of really cool things coming our way. They finally have introduced our first non-dinosaur at all, being a mutant of all things. Mm-hmm. So that thing is going to leave a lot of people scratching their heads. I know I've shown the trailer to a few people, and every one of them stop, go back to that scene, pause it, and go, what the hell is that? And I do think that while it's kind of like, I'm not the biggest fan of that, I do think it's something that is going to bring it's bringing something new to the mix. It's not a bunch of dinosaurs mixed together to make a new species. It's not a species at all. It's a failed experiment. And now we get to see what happens when that, instead of dying while you think it would die, being, not living very long, it gets to prosper and is known as something that is threatening all life on this island. So I'm very excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, I watched it, and I didn't get a whole lot of what the story is going to be. I did get a few glimpses of it, which is what's the most important part to me, because we know the dinosaurs are going to look cool. If not exactly accurate to what dinosaurs actually look like, they're going to look cool. It's going to be great visuals. I anticipate that. Got plenty of talent. Scarlett Johansson, huge star. Blade, who's supposed to be Blade. Mahershala Ali, big star. Oscar winner. I'm not worried about the talent. What this movie needed to be for me was a great story that can exist in the Jurassic Park world, this dinosaur world that has been created from the first one all the way up to this last one. It needs to exist in that, but kind of refocus on the characters. Because the first Jurassic Park movie, which I think we all can agree is the best of all of them. I think most people say it's the best of all of them.
Yes, sir.
That was a very human story that just happened around a bunch of dinosaur stuff. And it seemed like the last couple of Jurassic Park movies kind of strayed more towards the dinosaurs, and it kind of lost a little bit of that balance. And I think they got it back a little bit in the Jurassic World movies, but not enough. I think they tried to in spots, but it was still all about the dinosaurs at the end. And I want this to be more of the character stories against the backdrop of the crazy dinosaur stuff. Another thing I liked about what I did see is that I think they mentioned in the trailer, and I know, Brooding Gamer, you've probably watched the trailer about 100 times more than me, is I've seen it a couple of times. As they talk, I think they mentioned in the trailer that since the events of the last film, that dinosaurs have been hunted back to nearly extinction, and that they only exist in this either in this small pocket or in small pockets, and now they don't need the dinosaurs to make money off of as an attraction or anything. They need the DNA to cure a disease, cancer, or whatever it is. So that makes the game a lot different, and it kind of makes me wonder: is this going to be? Is that them leaning away from the dinosaurs and being more about the characters in the situation rather than just leaning on the cool visuals? Because we're going to get the cool visuals. Like I said, it's going to be awesome. We're going to see, dinosaurs biting guys off, porta potties. We're going to get those shots, and that's great. But I want to have a clear person to root for and against in this movie, and it seems like they're gonna probably do that. I mean, it seems like both the original Jurassic Park movies and the Jurassic World movies, it's like they rested, like the T-Rex was the main dinosaur star of the first movies. Then it was Indominus Rex, I think, for the most part of the World movies. This one probably going to be this mutant dinosaur thing, which, that's the next logical step. And of course, the T-Rex is probably going to be the one that comes along right at the end and kicks his ass because
they've actually written that out. I'm proud of it.
Really?
So a leak got out a while ago, and some guy on Twitter and Reddit had posted pages worth of information, what the new dinosaurs were going to look like, what the new monster was going to look like, what it's called, all these things. And people were like, no, that's not true. And no, we're not going to get a multi-armed xenomorph Rancor in our Jurassic movie. And
I heard about that, and I was like, wow, let's go.
Whatever that thing was. Oh my God.
When they were doing its design, the director said the art director wanted a creature that was mixed with a T-Rex, a Rancor, and a xenomorph. And that's what he made.
Well,
and what little we get to see, that's what that looks like to me. Like I said, and it looks massive. Like it looks like we get to see it in multiple parts of its lifespan, because you see like it's smaller in that one room, and then when it's outside, this thing's like the Cloverfield monster, like it's just towering over everybody. But what you said was right, but like most of we've hunted dinosaurs down to pretty much back to extinction, and not to mention our climate is now finally catching up with them. Our climate cannot hold a dinosaur because it's completely different. But yes, pockets of around the world have kind of evolved along with them to help keep them alive. So it's like certain parts, because I know there's been footage of like corpses being found in the middle of New York and stuff. So it's like, okay, so we're going to get to see these animals like kind of just life catching up with them. Because, life finds a way. So it is going to be interesting.
I've heard that line before somewhere.
I think I've seen it a few times actually.
To see where this goes. I mean, I've had a lot of people in my comments when I've posted my breakdown. People were like, we're seeing this exhibit in this museum that's being torn down. I thought it was being put together, but it's kind of like people are just wanting to erase dinosaurs in Jurassic Park from history. So they're actually tearing apart this guy's exhibit. And apparently this guy works directly under Dr. Grant at one point, because there's been a leaked snippet of him saying like, I owe it to Dr. Grant. So I don't know if Dr. Grant's like dead in this timeline, because it said he talks about him a lot in the previous past tense. So I'm like, okay, we maybe like.
Didn't he die in one of the previous movies though?
No.
He was in the last.
I thought he did.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, he's.
Plus, Sam Neill's not exactly doing the best in health anyway. So
I'd say Sam Neill's still kicking, but not. Yeah.
He's herding sheep rather than raptors at this point. But
I would listen to that man talk about sheep for hours. Like you said, I'd probably fall asleep too. I mean,
I will say one thing.
Funny video.
Now to talk about this new creature that's going to be in this movie, how it's like a Rancor, xenomorph, and a T-Rex or whatever.
Yeah.
We just saw the new Alien movie, and we had the xenomorph hybrid with engineer and human DNA, and that did not go over well. Like, and for like the way like it's coming out of that red kind of tank or whatever it's in, that was very much an Alien.
Yeah.
What was the name of the last Alien movie? Isolation, or I can't remember what it was. But the last Alien movie,
Romulus was the last one.
Romulus.
Kind of a
Romulus, yeah. Well, that I'm kind of worried that it's going to get compared to that if it doesn't look right, because once we saw what that new xenomorph engineer, human looked like, people shit all over it. And if this new design does not go over well,
that
I can
was all
see
practical effects. That was a person.
Right.
In costume,
It was an actual
so you
dude.
thought it
That
would have
was
been like,
cool.
oh, that's cool.
Right.
So-
yeah. It was just so ambitious of an idea that it didn't go over well. So hopefully they learn from those mistakes and they do it better in this movie. Because
Well, you
it could
gotta
be cool.
remember-
I mean,
I know a lot
We'll
of
see.
people have been pissed off because they're like, well, that's a monster in my dinosaur movie. You got to remember that not only do they have to appeal to people on screen, but they got to appeal to the kids in the store. You know, if the kids walk in the
course,
toy
yeah.
aisle, they've got
Yeah.
every T-Rex, they've got every
it's all about the action
Triceratops
figure.
toy.
Yeah.
But what about, you've got this thing on the shelves, not only like me as a collector, obviously, like I'm going to be picking that thing up. A lot of people
Of
are going to
course,
be
yeah.
wanting, they have to make it as appealing to the eye in a toy store just as much as it is on screen. Same with video games as well, because, we've got our gaming series of Evolution with Jurassic World, and it's got to look good in the game too. It's got to be something that catches the eye of not only, the film sense, but the toy sense as well. And unfortunately, a lot of things with movie designs, whether it be, like movies with dragons or monsters or anything, even like, the Marvel movies, it has to be able to sell well. I'm not trying to like quote, Dr. Malcolm here with, you put it on a lunchbox and then you're selling it. Like, that's literally how it has to go though. Cause they have to be like, oh, we like this Iron Man design, but how will it look as a toy? And we have to pay attention to that as well. So, I don't know. I think I like the design choice. I don't know if I like the idea just yet of a failed mutation in a movie like this. Because the last thing I think about when, you've got, John Hammond sitting on a kitchen counter trying to sell 2 paleontologists to visit his island, and then somewhere miles away is this 6-armed behemoth that is ripping apart half the island. That kind of just be like, oh, I never thought that would exist in the same time period, but okay. So it's, it's going to take some time, I think, for a lot of people to get used to. And I think it's one of those, like, don't pull like what they did with Fallen Kingdom and the Indoraptor, where it's like, you've got this big bad hybrid that only appears at the very end of the movie. Unlike the Adonis Rex that appeared the entire movie and here and there. And it kind of was like a force of nature. Make this something that kind of rears its ugly chrome dome, not just at the very end of the movie, but kind of throughout the movie, kind of hint at it and, make its presence known. Don't screw up and just like throw it at the very end and be like, eh. Because then that just gives like the idea that you guys aren't confident that it's going to be able to sell the movie if you just put it at the very end. So,
Right.
Don't do the JP3 Spino thing where you're like, okay, we got this new big bad. It just snapped a T-Rex's neck. This thing is here to fucking play.
Yeah.
And then we
That only worked for Jaws because the shark didn't work. Now we need to see it earlier. We have evolved.
I'm just saying, like, the thing with the Spino was like that in 3 was it was supposed to be like that's the new like big bad. I recently didn't notice this. I think maybe I saw it, but it didn't click for me. That the only Jurassic Park logo that was ever different was the 3rd movie, where every time, I mean, you can see it right behind on his screen there. It's always been that circle with the T-Rex in it. 3 had the Spinosaurus skeleton. And I'm like, you don't just change that for no reason. I'm like, I think they had a good plan behind this thing. Like this was going to be the next thing. And I'll tell you, we recently watched 3 and that thing's roar still sends a fucking chill down my spine. That thing, like, it's got this guttural roar. I'm like, Rexy's iconic, but I'm like, dude.
And now we don't even just have 1 now. We have 3.
So yeah, that's where I was going. I was like, see, but now I'm like, I saw them little fins in the water. I'm like, ooh, we're doing more Spinos. I don't care if it's not the same one that we all know and love from 3, but
we now have our chubby, accurate Spinosaurus now. I'm like, please keep the roar. Keep that roar the same.
Yeah. Now we have that.
Now, I'm a
point,
newbie to the species of dinosaurs. The spine that's one that kind of has like the alligator head neck, right?
The real long, the Spino.
Yeah,
the one that y'all were talking. It like from like the neck up, it kind of looks like an alligator or like a crocodile.
Long neck, long snout, got the fin on the back.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but I was just making sure. Yeah.
That was. I think I'm not mad about this new weird hybrid designs. I think Gamer even said it somewhere in one of the chats. It's like it kind of stands to reason that like with cloning and mutating things, it's not really an exact science, and like wild variables happen.
Oh yeah.
If I'm gonna believe that this happened, like maybe even pre 1993, like them getting this all set up, like even in the first movie, they even say like, well, this isn't really possible because like these DNA sequences are gonna have gaps. And what they do, they filled them in with other animals that we already have to make a complete chain. So you still already kind of have that weird variable, like where they finally found a formula that works to make these dinosaurs. I'm like, you got to think if this is their first alpha run of these, monsters, it's like it's not really going to work, and there's going to be some weird thing that just goes off the rails. And
I made a joke in one of my videos that we're going to see a two-headed raptor a long time ago. And if in one of my breakdowns, I paused where they're showing the containment tank with the raptor in it, and I sat there and I stared at that image, and I swear to God, you can see like the bottom of the jaw of another head on the side, and I outlined it, and a few people were like, I think that's a two-headed velociraptor. And everybody's like, this is so fucking stupid. They're going to put two-headed dinos. I said, no, I don't think they are. But you got to remember that that's not something out of the realm of possibility. We've got two-headed snakes. We've got two-headed cows. They don't live long. But what's to say that they're not going to have some containment units that show failed mutations or failed cloning attempts? And yeah, there's going to probably be a few two-headed animals or animals with half an eyeball on their whatever. It's not, it looks kind of Resident Evil, but that's not, like Jeremy said, you're filling in empty gaps of genomes with other animal DNA to help create this. So yeah, there's going to be some mishaps. Hell, in that Camp Cretaceous show on Netflix, they had a test tube with a juvenile dinosaur in it that had no back legs. It was just like it was like a Pseudoceratops or whatever. I'm speaking gibberish to you guys, but it was in a test tube and it had no back legs. And then you've got a Baryonyx, which we saw in Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaur with the lava falling on top of it that looked like an alligator. There's one of those in there with no eyeballs. It's completely just blank slate where its eyes should be. But it was genetically designed to be that way because the guy wanted to test its echolocation to make why he decided to make it blind, I don't know, but I guess to heighten the other senses of this animal. But yeah, it's kind of freaking weird to look at, a dinosaur with literally no eyeballs or a dinosaur that's got no back legs because it's been cloned improperly. But I think that's where they're kind of like leading into to just give us that idea like, hey, yeah, you're going to probably see some things like, I hope you didn't want to see a Triceratops with like no head because you may get that in this because we don't know what we're doing. At the time when they're making these things, they don't know what they're doing. And in the trailer, everything in that lab looks pristine. The raptor containment system, it's shiny as like been made that same day. So it's probably it may be that they've been working on this D-Rex, as they're putting it, fairly recently, and yeah, they're using this lab to try to make something bigger and better, and then they may quote the Indominus Rex or whatever. So it's hard to say.
If I don't stop him right there and move on to the review, he's going to go on for the next 24 hours. but that, like I said, the trailer is out there. Go watch it. Give us your thoughts in the comments as to what you think. I put the link to Brooding Gamer's breakdown in the chat, so if you guys want to go check out his stuff, so he is the dinosaur expert here on this channel. Shout out your channel real quick, Brooding Gamer. What do you got going on?
On the Brooding Gamer channel, we are literally just like kind of delving into the recent film news. We're covering all the merchandise that comes with it and all the game coverage for the newest Jurassic World Evolution 3 game coming out. So lots of toy hunts, a lot of toy reviews, some cool skits coming your way with your boy Ian Malcolm up here. It's going to be a blast.
But here's the twist. I'm not actually going to be Ian Malcolm in this one, so if that gets you excited.
If you need a Chris Pratt impression, I've got you covered. So see, I can do the clicker thing. I will bring a clicker and I will be as douchey as he was, so it'll be fine.
He's in the background like clicking to some fucking dogs, like that's it.
but we're gonna have to I'm over there trying to do it, and then I get killed immediately. Like that would be the perfect way. That would be amazing. That'd be great.
He gets Vincent D'Onofrio like right there, just gets his hand.
Oh yeah. Kill me immediately, as bloody as possible. Be like, oh shit, he's not getting out of that alive.
He's the red shirt guy in Star Trek. He's dying in the first.
Oh yeah. Kill me first. Yeah, murder me immediately.
But thank you, Brooding Gamer. Go check out his channel. Link is in the description down below. As always, go check out his stuff. He pops on here every now and again to hang out with us, and I'm certain when this movie comes out, he will be here to bloviate endlessly about everything good and bad about it. So, yeah, go check out him below. Thank you very much, Brooding Gamer, for breaking this down with us. We'll see you later on. And now let's get to the review that we all came here for. Let's get to The Hunt. It is a 2020 American action horror film directed by Craig Zobel and written by Nick Cause and Damon Lindelof. The film stars Betty Gilpin, Hilary Swank, Ike Barinholtz, and Emma Roberts. Jason Blum was the producer under his Blumhouse Productions banner, along with Lindelof. Zobel and Lindelof said that the film intended as a satire on the profound political divide between the American left and right. It is about a group of elites who kidnap working class people to hunt them. The film was originally scheduled for release on September 27th of 2019. However, as a result of the El Paso and Dayton mass shootings in early August of 2019, Universal Pictures decided to delay it. The Hunt was eventually released in theaters in the United States on March 13th of 2020 and received mixed reviews from critics. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic resulted in closures of most theaters within a week of the film's release, which resulted in the film underperforming at the box office, grossing only $12.4 million against a budget of about $14 million. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 57% based on 276 reviews. It's got an average review rating of 5.9 out of 10. The critic consensus reads, quote, "The Hunt is successful enough as a darkly humorous action thriller, but it shoots wide of the mark when it aims for timely social satire." I don't agree with that last part very much, but let's get into it now. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. Give me your quick thoughts on The Hunt.
Yeah, it was definitely a movie. Yes. Oh, we didn't expect me to do that, did we? Yeah, I'm having trouble here with, like what we did the last review, where I'm like, yeah, it was fun, but there were some things where I'm like, I know sometimes we say it's a popcorn movie, just turn your brain off, have fun. I'm like, yeah, but if you think about it for even like more than a second, you're like, okay, but that didn't make any fucking sense at all. Even if you're trying to be funny or satirical, I'm like, no, that literally makes no damn sense. Huh? Like, there were some things I didn't quite understand. So all I'm then now judging it off of is like the action and the premise that it wasn't really, it was a premise for like 5 minutes. And then it was, sprinkled throughout, which was like the action and the, her just one man armying through everybody. I mean, that was fun. Betty Gilpin's obviously like easily the best part of this entire movie. If you want to talk about someone absolutely just having the time of their goddamn life doing this movie, it's definitely her. Also, since we had no time to care about anybody, so I mean, when you ask me who my favorite character is in this movie, I'm like, well, there was like what, 2? So there's
only really 3 characters that get any significant screen time in this entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, I could be a dick and be like, yeah, I'm gonna choose the pig. Fuck it, the pig was the coolest one. Orwell was done dirty, and I'm not okay with it. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it had it lacked a little bit of subtlety, which again, I know it's satire, whatever, but maybe a little bit of subtlety. It sounds like a teenager wrote this story, but it was still fun. But like I said, there's a couple of things where it doesn't make sense, and I think it had a good idea or something that I thought would maybe take off more, but just didn't. So I don't know.
Tex, give me your quick thoughts.
Yeah, this movie is like a funny purge. It's kind of what I thought it was. It's kind of in the vein of like a Idiocracy kind of levels of satire that just makes fun of everybody. I mean, obviously this film got hellacious. I mean, way overblown. I mean, obviously 2019 was a bad year. We had, the Uvalde shooting, and I think there was one in Ohio or somewhere that was real big. But between this and Joker, between this movie and the original Joker movie, it was a rough year for the shooting pew pew type movie. But no, this one was I enjoyed it because it's like the worst version of everybody. And by the way, if they're picking people for saying conspiracy theories on the internet, I'm fucked. They're coming for me tomorrow. There is no way.
He's going to Croatia next week.
Right. Like, I need to start, I need to go lock the doors and batten down the hatches because they're coming for me. Like, this movie was so overblown, Trump tweeted about it. Like, this is how bad it got. Like, That says something. Now, I think this movie is a little bit smart. It's a little bit smarter than it actually is. Like it tries a little bit hard at times. They get a little hard, maybe ham-fisted with the satire a bit. I think that's what Jeremy was touching on. But overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'll break down the rest later. But it was I don't regret watching it. It was a fun watch.
The whole point of satire is to go overboard making fun of something. I mean, you don't watch a movie like Airplane and think that that's exactly how airports work. That's the idea. This movie is kind of it's through the looking glass. This parody of very extreme people that don't really exist not like this. There are certainly people that have extreme views, but they don't really exist the way that people exist in this movie. This movie's got some holes, I'm not going to lie. But as a pure popcorn movie that uses the satire to make fun of people that are extreme to one end or the other, both of them, by the way. And I know that some people will look at this movie and be like, oh, you're just trying to, it's just, they're trying to make the MAGA people look good like they're the victims here. No, like Tech said, everybody here is kind of dumb. There is no, there's no. Betty Gilpin is the good guy, but it's like everybody here just takes their own bullshit too far. That's the idea, is that we need to kind of bring it back to center a little bit. That's what the satire is all about, and why the writers and director said they want it to be a satire of the divide, not between the left and the right, not one side or the other. And that's the message I think that should be taken from this whole thing. But other than that, Jeremy's right. It is ultimately one of those turn your brain off, stuff your face full of popcorn, and have fun. I mean, not a perfect movie. I think they could have put a little more story into it, because I think it is a little one-dimensional in spots. You don't really get any great dialogue till the very end of the movie, and Hilary Swank and Betty Gilpin are talking as they're trying to kill each other. It's like that was the kind of great dialogue that should have happened a lot more in the movie. It seems like the best dialogue from the movie up to that point is some of the quirky shit that Betty Gilpin says. It's like that's the best dialogue. There's not really any explanation. You have that exposition stuff, like when it goes back a year and it shows you what happened and how they picked all the people, and yada yada yada. That's the only real meaningful dialogue in the movie until you get to the final fight at the end, and they're kind of talking to each other and kind of hashing it all out. But yeah, not perfect, but damn, it's entertaining. It's kind of perfectly done satire. You make fun of everybody. That's how great satire works. But let's get into it now. I don't really know much about the director. I
looked up his work. I haven't seen anything that he's ever done. I know nothing about this guy.
Let's see.
Yeah, I had it pulled up and I totally screwed it and closed it all. But let me see. Let me pull this up real quick. Directed by Craig Zobel. I'll talk about Damon Lindelof in a minute. What's he done? He did The Hunt. He did Great World of Sound. Z for Zachariah, which I've heard is really good. I haven't seen. He did do a couple episodes of The Penguin, which I still have not watched, but everybody says was a fantastic movie.
Penguin was good. I liked Penguin.
7 episodes of Mayor of Easttown, which I haven't watched, but everybody liked. He did an episode of Westworld, which a lot of people loved. Z for Zachariah and some other stuff. A couple music videos and other things. Not the best effort in the world, but again, not a bad effort. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'll go to you first, Tex. What did you think of how he put together the movie? Is there anything you would have changed?
No, I like how, I'm kind of going to disagree with some of the things you just said there a minute ago, Frank. I like how this movie was put together. I didn't go into this expecting a bunch of plot getting in the way of the story. I knew what this movie was, and I came here to see people get bludgeoned to death in hilarious ways, from spike pits to grenades in the dick to everything else. I mean, this is what this is. It's violent gore deaths and political satire. I mean, I like how the kill ratio was good. The story kept moving, and I was entertained. Plot details be damned in this one. Justin Hartley directly looks down, like breaks fourth wall, looks directly into the camera right before he dies. That tells you what kind of movie he had. And I appreciated this movie for that. I thought the plot worked well. There was enough story there that you got everything that you needed. Could you have added more dialogue and slowed it down? Yeah, sure. But you're going to water down all the good stuff that's here already. So, no, I like what he did here.
Jay, how about you? What do you think about the work that David Lindelof did? Or Craig
Yeah,
Zobel. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the writer for a second. I'm sorry.
Well, the writer, I mean, has some issues with that.
I'm going to talk about him in a second.
Yeah, a little bit of salty will fucking work, dude. Jesus. You'll just say the first thing that comes to your mind. I'm just being a catty bitch today. No, I liked the premise and like the trailers. I think I got this movie confused with something else that was kind of similar. That it was like there's this whole thing going on, and there's like one person who's like the ringer who ends up being a complete badass, and just turns the tables on everyone. So I liked the I think like Tech said, like it kind of reminded me of like The Purge mixed with like the Hunger Games a little bit. And I mean, I like my Tarantino. It got a little Tarantino-esque at some parts where it just goes off the goddamn rails.
Especially that final fight with Tarantino all the way.
That I was thinking like Tarantino or
that was straight up some shit from Kill Bill. That's what that was.
I was thinking Kill Bill a lot in this movie too. Yeah, also because she kind of looks like Discount, like fucking the bride. So
Uma Thurman,
yeah, Uma Thurman. Yeah, I mean, but past that, I was like, okay, this is kind of a cool premise, and I kind of figured like the people were just there to be there. I mean, I know it's like, oh look, it's Emma Roberts, she's a big star. Oh, there goes her brains. I was like, I didn't expect her to stay there.
Great headshot too.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I already saw this come. Like, yeah, they're all gonna die, and I was like, well, you gave some of them some character work, I guess, for what it's worth. I was like, it felt like it was breaknecking so hard just to be like, okay, so now we're just gonna follow Betty Gilpin for this in the movie. I was like, okay, interesting. Yeah, it worked, and like I said, there were some ideas in there that it's like I think they had, a makes sense, which again, I'm sure we'll get into it. But like Tech said, the practical effects again is something that I definitely appreciate. Even though there was some CG blood, which is kind of a sin.
There was a lot of CG blood in this one. Like, there was more CG than practical. I'll say that.
I mean, like the practical, like the girl being in the pit and like.
Oh yeah, like no, that was practical. Yeah.
Yeah, so those things I can appreciate. That's what a final thing to say. Like, just kill me, you fucking.
Oh, I loved her. Okay. I'll talk about that scene more later. I love that scene.
Yeah.
I thought I had a picture of the girl in the pit. I don't know why I didn't load it. There it is. My pictures didn't load for some reason.
Yeah, there were some pretty memorable kills in this. Some. And I'm just a nitpicky dick. Like sometimes, like I mean, when dude like steps on the pressure mine, I was like, okay, well then don't. I was like, well, don't move. No, when he steps on the pressure mine and he just looks, there's like 5 more, then they all just spontaneously explode. I'm like, that's not how that works. But okay, haha, you get your funny like fourth wall break. You just, I mean, to be fair, it was at least more realistic. Like them dying off like that fast was actually kind of realistic. Like these people just get thrown into this field with a crate full of guns and knives, and they immediately just start getting taken out one by one. I was like, okay.
Fucking deplorable guys running through 2 guns, just back, just running through that.
When we talk, I'm going to shit on that a little bit when we talk about the plot, because I think that kind of hurts the movie a bit.
That's a goofy thing that I was like, okay, but that's
that's a guy that's never shot a gun before that like played too much Call of Duty. That's what that shit is. But
he was he definitely ran the dually shotguns in COD too. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the kills were a little more fun. Like I said, and then just Betty Gilpin kicking all of the ass is obviously the best part, and she has some of the best lines. And I think her character being slightly, maybe slightly too subtle. She's kind of unhinged, so it kind of makes it fun.
She's a little broken,
$6 $6.
She was in the shit, as she said, man. I think she's got some PTSD for sure.
Yeah, the directing I think was pretty good. I mean, for the level of experience this guy has, it's not as good as the last movie we talked about. We're talking about a relatively new director who really made a banger of a movie. But I mean, I give a lot of credit to the writer Damon Lindelof. I mean, he did this. He did the Watchmen TV series, which I didn't watch because nobody really liked it. But I never heard any.
Don't watch that. That's garbage.
I never heard any complaints about the writing. He did Tomorrowland, if we don't talk about it. He did all the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. He did Prometheus. He did Lost. He's done a bunch of stuff. I'm sorry, he was producer on those, but he also was writer on it. He wrote an episode of Phineas and Ferb, which makes me happy because that's one of my favorite cartoons to watch if I ever watch cartoons anymore. He wrote Cowboys and Aliens. We won't talk about that because the movie was god awful. I mean, he goes back to Nash Bridges in the early 2000s, which is a really popular show. Look, I think the writing is probably the best part of this entire movie. At times, times. Now there wasn't a whole lot of story, but when we do get that stuff, when we do get that exposition stuff, it's actually really good. But it wasn't complete as far as the writing was concerned. Is my problem. But that's one of the problems I have with the movie. Now let's talk about the cast. I mean, so many people. I mean, Ike Barinholtz right there. Just loaded with a lot of actors that I know. I'll go to you first, Jay. What do you think about the cast and who stood out to you the most?
For the total of 5 minutes that they lived, I mean, they were pretty cool, I guess. There were actually, like you said, as it was going, I was like, oh wait, I've seen that guy. Oh, I know that guy. Oh, I know her. There were two people in this actually from The Walking Dead. One I kind of recognized right away, and the other one was a little more. He was the guy that got shot with the arrows. He had the baseball cap down over his face. So I saw his face for a second. I was like, oh wait, I know him. He was in Walking Dead, and the guy who played the doctor, who stabbed the guy in the neck with the pen on the plane, was in it too. So that's pretty cool. I mean, if it's spoiler alert, I mean, just about everybody dies in The Walking Dead. So, I mean, to be fair, both those characters died in Walking Dead as well. So, what you gonna do? It's a shock. And as I said, this is really hard because there's 3 people in this movie. So, like I said, we're gonna sing praises about Betty Gilpin because, like I said, she had probably the most fun in this movie. I don't think Hilary Swank needs any explaining. She's Oscar-winning Hilary Swank. So. She's a Hall of Famer, as you say.
Oh yeah.
No complaints about her. Although, I mean, maybe not her, but again, I'm gonna get there. But the whole, I guess, twist, but plot of this story, I was like, what the fuck? What? I don't know. Unless I'm just dumb and I don't get it. Someone please explain it to me. But you know what? I'll still stick with what I said. I'm going with Orwell. That poor little piggy.
Orwell the pig.
I was going to say, I remember the scene now. I'm like, you almost broke the Homer Simpson rule. I'm like, you can't kill him if he's wearing people clothes. And I forgot when Don walks in there, he's like, hey, you dropped your pig. I was like, oh, he actually is naked, no clothes. I'm like, okay. But still, guys, Jesus. He brought home the bacon and you fucking filled it with holes. And so you ruined it. But I'll go with Orwell.
Tex, how about you? What did you think of the cast of the film and who stood out to you the most?
Oh, he's muted. Hold on.
Unmute, dude. Unmute.
Unmute.
Sorry about that. I said,
did you say the N-word again?
Hey, don't push me. Don't push me,
I'll push the button is what I'll do.
I gave him creative control over the stream. He can mute all of us now.
No, for me it's 2, and I'm gonna pick 2 here because they're not in the movie long. And obviously we get Emma Roberts and Justin Hartley. Emma Roberts, American Horror Stories fame. She played Sydney's niece in Scream 4, which I love her in that movie, by the way. And then Justin Hartley, he's Green Arrow from Smallville, man. Heck, yeah, I've always liked that guy. You get these really star pretty people. You think they're gonna be that carry the movie, and then 5 minutes later they're both gone. So I thought it was cool that they did the Scream thing with the Scream actors. I thought that was really cool. And the reason why they make the movie for me is, we see Justin Hartley. He's got that classical good guy look thing going. And then he stands on the IED, and then we get that Deadpool fourth wall break, look into the camera like, are you serious? And then he's gone. They were, like I said, they're not in the movie long, but they're definitely enjoyable. They were my go-tos.
Yeah, for me, it's clear. Betty Gilpin stands out in this entire
Yeah.
fucking movie. She carries the damn thing. Now, I mean, because you don't even actually get to see Hilary Swank until I think it's 62 minutes into the movie I saw.
Yeah, right at the
Yeah.
So you don't really now. She's obviously very important, but Betty Gilpin is so damn good. Did you guys? A lot of wrestling fans in the community. Did you guys watch Glow on Netflix?
It was
Yes,
a wrestler or some shit. Yeah,
dude, she is phenomenal. That entire show is fantastic. I don't know. It only got canceled because COVID came around, became a thing. They canceled a bunch of really good TV shows because they just couldn't keep paying these people for a show they weren't making, even one relatively inexpensive. So that show was one of the ones that ended up getting canceled simply because of COVID and they couldn't make anything. But God, she was fantastic in that. That whole show was really good in part because of her, and she's been good in a lot of things. I mean, everything I've seen her, and I'm like, damn, she's got some acting chops to her, and she does do this great version of the bride from Kill Bill. I mean, I like the fact that she's so understated through most of this film. It's like she walks into the store with Ma and Pa or whatever their names are, I forget.
Yeah, it's Ma and Pa.
And she's so nonchalant about everything, and then she realizes that one little detail is off. She springs into action and becomes the bride. She becomes a mercenary, and I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome.
With one banger of a fucking one-liner too.
Oh yeah,
the look
6 dollars in Arkansas. You fucked up.
It's
bitch.
important to study the prices of tobacco products in your general areas.
Apparently,
that's how you know.
Right.
So.
yeah.
I mean, like she was from the South, so she would know. Like,
And just the look in her eyes when she says it too, like she looks kind of psychotic. She's like, "You fucked up, bitch," and I'm like, "Damn, that's fucking vicious." But yeah, it is. She is phenomenal. I also want to show a little bit of love to Ethan Suplee because I just love him as an actor. He's been fantastic in so many things for so long. His personal journey has actually been one that I've not followed a whole lot, but I've kind of kept track of. Ethan Suplee, you guys will remember him as a really big guy from the lineman from Remember the Titans. He actually shed a lot of weight, did a lot of working out. He was on Rogan's podcast a year or two ago.
He's completely changed. He looks completely.
And believe it or not, he's actually a really good actor. I mean, for being mostly a supporting character actor guy, he's been in a lot of movies that are just next level good. He was Ed Norton's friend in American History
X. He was also the brother on My Name Is Earl too. That was a good the TV show back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, he's been good in a lot of things, and while he's not leading man, God, that guy can really work a camera. But yeah, for me, it's Betty Gilpin. I wish I would have seen more of some of these characters. I'll get to a little more in the plot. I mean, Ike Barinholtz is funny. He's a comedian by trade. The lady you see in this picture here is Amy Madigan. God, I've seen her in so many things for so long. Field of Dreams. She's actually got a lot of horror credits to her name as well. She's got a new horror movie coming out, I think, later this year. So yeah, Amy Madigan is fantastic as well. But yeah, I mean, it's Betty Gilpin. This entire movie is on her shoulders. She carries it beautifully. Now let's go to the plot a little bit. I'll go to you first, Jay. Kind of the whole hunting humans thing. You know, we've talked about it recently a little bit. The Most Dangerous Game, that whole thing. What do you think of the plot of the film? Did it work for you? Is there anything you would have changed up?
So yeah, it works because I was getting Purge, Hunger Games, even though what's his name said Avatar. I'm like, I don't know where you landed on Avatar because you got shot.
What kind of Avatar shit is this?
Yeah, Avatar shit is this? There it is. I knew that was coming. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was kind of fun. Like I said, at first I was like, Jesus, we are just breaknecking through all these characters, and then I was like, well, that's probably a little more realistic. And they do mention, like, you see later, like, well, why don't we just shoot them as soon as they grab their guns? I'm like, yeah, I mean, you did do that, so didn't give much of a choice. But I mean, if it gets us to, like I said, it gets us to what was his character? Gary. We just talked about him. His character's name was Gary. Starting out with Betty Gilpin. And then going to Dawn, who may or may not have been on their side. But I think that's just the bigger thing that I was going to go into is like kind of the manipulation of just believing whatever you hear because you have like some shred of something of a truth like that makes sense. Like just because Athena, who's played by Hilary Swank, calls Dawn out by name. I'm like, well, she knows who they all are, but just that little bit's like, she just throws that little twist of like, oh yeah, did you get them all? Is she dead? And it's like, damn, you're really gonna turn her on him that fast? That sucks. And I kind of get it was, and I'm like, well, I get the thing that's in her mind. It's like, well, he's not dropping his gun. I'm like, well, no, you fucking wouldn't either. I'm like, that doesn't necessarily mean. And they do just kind of breeze over to like, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Like, yikes. But yeah, but the only I was gonna say for the ending, I was like, yeah, we were talking about Betty Gilpin, like as fantastic as she is, I'm like, it is kind of crazy that you're in the same room and going toe to toe, literally toe to toe with Hilary Swank. So I mean, that speaks a lot to your acting chops, man. That's pretty damn cool. And you get like some They Live-esque type, like 7-minute fucking long fight that's just ridiculous. Through like a open fireplace, you get like a fucking food processor stuck in your side. You get pinched by the action of a shotgun, which I can't imagine.
Oh, that was that. I felt that more than I did anything.
Yeah, like that's almost. I'm like, I know what that would feel like. Damn, man, like talk about Beretta biter and M1 thumb. Fuck that. Now we got like over under bite. Like shit.
Well,
I'm gonna
if you've ever had Grand thumb, you know.
Oh, I have. It's not fun. I tried to be cool once and do it the correct way, and then caught the tip of my thumb on that. It's not fun.
I don't know. Tex, how about you? What do you think of the plot of the movie? Did it work for you, or is there anything you would have tinkered with a little bit?
Well, yeah, like I said, I think it works overall. Like I said, I think it's like I said earlier, it's trying to be a little bit smarter than it actually is, a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it works. You don't get a lot from these characters because you're not supposed to. They're just random people in the world that they were caught saying extravagant things online, which, hey, in 2025, that's only gotten worse since this movie's been made. That has not gotten better. Just look at social. So, for that, the plot point works fine. The who's really don't matter. That's why we don't get much time with most of them, and most of them are nothing more than meat for the fodder. So I appreciate that. I do a lot of shitting on Blumhouse. I stand by my statements that Blumhouse is bad for horror. It's the Walmart of horror. It's the cheap, generic, just pump them out and dump them. This one, I'm going to give Jason Blum and his team credit for actually not going one-sided with this, especially plotline wise, because they could have very just as easily made every straight white male, the devil, and everybody else is the good guy, which so many other movies do. This one didn't do that, and it did the South Park thing. They crapped on everybody. The build up to the fight at the end works. I found very funny. The ending of this movie. I don't know if y'all remember Hostel 2, where the girl that survives and ends up joining the hunters and getting on their plane and leaving. I don't know if they ripped that off from that movie directly or accidentally, but very much reminded me of it. But I think the plot works. It's got its funny moments. Fucking redneck slams the fucking door and all that shit. Just so much fun shit. I like what they did here.
Yeah, Stuart in the chat. What's going on, Stuart? Hey, Stuart, just so you know, I don't know what they did with them. They fell down. They're right here. Swear to God, here's the posters. I actually managed to get you a couple. I actually managed to get you a couple of Nosferatu posters at the theater the other day. I put those in there, and I'm going to go see. Obviously, we're going to go see. This weekend or next weekend? Next weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Next weekend is Captain African America.
Captain America.
And when I go to see Captain America, I'm going to see what else they got, and then I'm going to get these in the mail. I'm trying to stuff as many of these posters as I can in there because I know you don't get them in Australia. So I'm going to try to hook you up as good as I can. But yes, I've got them. Got them right here. I've got plenty here for you to decorate your pad with, my man. But here's where I'm going to shit on the movie a little bit.
Yeah, I had a point, but go ahead. You'll probably mention it.
Well, there were too many deaths too fast. It's like I get a couple of these people are going to get whacked quick. I mean, the blonde girl getting whacked quick. That made sense. I mean, what is she ever going to do? This little girl right here, I feel bad for her, but she wasn't going to last. This guy right here. It's like I get it. So people are going to die fast. but the guy, this guy right here, it's like you could have had some of these people last and drug this out a bit and had a little, either A, had a little more fun with it, or B, made me feel a little more connected to these characters other than just Betty Gilpin. It would have been nice to have had another dimension to this instead of just her walking around. Because what do we get? She's walking around with Ethan Suplee's character for a little while. And then he disappears, and the next time we see him, he's got a knife in his forehead in the trunk of a car.
You turned into a unicorn.
Yeah, it was like it would have been like
Sweet
if
knife.
we could have gotten to that fight and seen a little bit more character work over the course of this, I think it would have been better. It seems like the dialogue and some of the stuff was just to get to the next fight or just to get to the next action piece. And I'm like, you got a really interesting concept here. Why don't you flesh it out a little bit? Of all the 12 people that are there, I think fucking 8 of them get whacked in the first 30 seconds of this whole Hunger Games thing. Why not? I mean, I get it. A couple of them are going to die quick. The other thing that gets me is I don't have a good picture of it. Maybe you see it and you don't really see it in this one. But it's like that crate in the middle of the field, and they do not see the hide that is probably 100 feet long and maybe a few hundred feet away. Nobody thought to look over there and say, hey, what's that? All these guys are supposedly gun guys. A couple of these guys that I figure are probably hunters didn't look over there and say, hey, there's a hide. What's in that hide?
Actually, especially the guy right there that Emma Roberts is taking the gag off of. Wasn't he the big game hunter? Wouldn't he have fucking known that?
Yeah, Shane, Justin Hartley character, yeah.
You didn't notice that hide out there with some people sticking barrels against? Because these motherfuckers in there, they might know how to shoot, but they're not smart about not sticking the barrel of the gun out of their hide. These motherfuckers aren't good at concealing. That hide is 100% obvious. Nobody looked over there and saw that because I was watching it today before we went live, and I saw that and I was like, really? It's the most obvious place to get shot from. So even if you notice it and think it's just there, the first time a shot rings out and that one girl takes one upside her head and splatters her shit all over the guy and that crate, you wouldn't think one of them would have been like, maybe they're shooting from over there. I know it's a movie. I know it's a stupid movie. Stuff your face full of popcorn and just have fun. But at the same, there's got to be a certain amount of realism where some guys like, hey, over there, it looks like a hide. We need to try to figure something out. And while they're trying to get away, maybe a couple more people get clipped. I get it. That's fine. But it's like, it was just so stupid that nobody noticed this. And that's why I kind of laugh when people are like, oh, this was just something to make the people on the right look good or to make them look like the victims. I was like, this movie makes them look dumb. It's like,
everybody looks retarded.
Yeah. But it's like
every single person.
But when people say it's just this whole movie was made to make the people on the right look like victims. No, everybody in this movie is dumb. It made them look dumb. It made the people shooting at them look dumb. Like none of these people were, with the exception of Betty Gilpin as the movie goes on. I don't want to root for any of these fucking people at the beginning of the movie. I'm just like, I just want to see you die in a cool way. and later on as the movie goes on, Betty Gilpin kind of she wins your heart over a little bit. But for the most part, I'm like, there's just too many things here that are so laughably stupid. It pushes this movie from satire into spoof. You know what I mean? And
I get it.
And if you would have called it a spoof and shown me this movie, I'd have been like, I get it. That the kind of stuff wouldn't have been so obnoxious. But even in satire, the best thing about all good satire is there's a high element of truth in it. You're looking honestly and humorously at a real thing. And in real life, somebody would look and been like, why is there somebody pointing a fucking rifle out of that hide? Maybe we should duck. Instead of just like...
Well, go back to how Snowflake offs herself. I mean, she just lands on a fucking spike and like the dude's too much of a pussy to kill her. So, you fucking Snowflake and then offs herself. Like, just from that one scene alone, you know what kind of movie you're watching. Even if you don't see anything else, between Shane looking directly into the camera and that scene, that's the defining moments of, okay, I know what kind of film I'm watching. So, I get it.
Jeremy, what are you going to say? You wanted to make a point.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if we were going to get to like other plot things that didn't make sense. My biggest thing at the end when we finally see Hilary Swank sit down with the two other people in the office, which was the entire driving force of this movie, is what we see from the beginning when you see the group chat going off. And I'm like, okay, so they're coming to her like, yeah, basically you can't. They're like, why did you say that? And she's like, it was a joke. I'm like, okay, but what? Like, why did you say that? Like, where is the joke? What was the joke even about? Like, you literally said something that like actually said, sounded really ridiculous. And then I thought the point was going to be that, since someone got it off the internet, and of course I thought that was the smart point that it had to make, that was like, oh yeah, well, you take one little thing on the internet and then it blows up into this whole, it's like the game of telephone, but it's just on the internet, because that's how that happens. And it gets blown out of proportion into this big thing, which is what they came down there to talk to her about. Like, look, you got to go. You can't be saying stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so then I know, I'm like, if I'm supposed to believe that everyone in this movie is that dumb, I'm like, okay, so then why was your next thought like, oh, well, then let's do it for real? I'm like, to prove what? Huh? I was so seriously fucking confused by that twist. I'm like, yeah, you're sure going to show them by actually doing the thing that
they accuse you of, that you swear you're not doing.
You made a joke about. I'm like, well, then you're not any better? Is that I was kind of confused on what the fucking message was. I thought, like I said, I thought the really smart thing was like the whole commentary, like I said, about the internet. Like, that's how that works. You make one small off comment and then it just gets blown out of proportion. I was like, that's really smart. And they're like, no, we're going to do that now. I'm like, but why? What? And I'm like, I don't see anywhere where that's a joke. That just literally just spells out. She's like, oh, well, good thing we're going to go hunt people for sport. I'm like, what? What is your joke? I didn't get any of that. So again, if I'm missing it or something, someone please tell me, because I just thought that was really dumb. I don't know.
They went in kind of hard in that text message thread, like they were actually doing it. It's like there wasn't like an LOL after anything. You know how texting rules go these days. There wasn't an LOL after anything. It's like these people were like, yeah, we're definitely going to do this. We're definitely going to do this. It's not just a group of people talking shit about how they're going to go to the bar and drink this weekend, when in reality they're going to sit there and watch reruns of fucking, Desperate Housewives. It's not that kind of talking shit. It's like they were really committed to this in that text message thread.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was the only thing that really kind of threw me off a little bit, but which I guess was the whole driving point of this movie. Like I said, like you were saying, Frank, I agree that it had a really cool premise that I was invested in, but I was like, I think it happened for maybe 5 minutes. Like, I was like, okay. And in the 5 minutes, the first, 1 minute was everybody getting off. And I was like, hold on, wait, what? Stop, wait. Like, can I? Fuck me, now they're all dead. I'm like, okay, was I supposed to care? I don't know. I mean, then I'm like, then I don't care for the rest of the movie. That's what kind of threw me off. Is I'm like, if you're gonna build it up, like how these characters get picked off one by one, it gives you that levity to like, oh, the situation they're in, and it can still come down to just Betty Gilpin still being the only one who's smart enough to be 5 steps ahead of these guys.
If for no other reason than to give us a couple of more cool kills and to lean into the not quite horror, but like visual aspect of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because the kills were cool. They were not very inventive, but I mean, they were cool and looked accurate for what the situation was. But it's like, you could have taken some time and showed me this guy getting speared by the arrows later on. You could have taken, I mean, it's like, yeah, so this is one of the first things that happens. This was a cool one, by the way. I'm so glad I found the shot.
Grenade to the dick, man. That'll get you every time.
I will say that
everything going on at everything that goes on at the little, the little store, the gas station, that was fine. But it's like, why not stretch this out if for no other reason just to give us the visuals? Because the kills could have been filler, and then you could have had dialogue in between where we kind of figure out a couple of the main characters, maybe not all of them, but a couple of the main characters, Betty Gilpin, fucking.
She could have been the one who's like, getting them to get their shit together. Like, guys, like, we got to focus and we got to get this taken care of.
Mr. Handsome guy that gets whacked way too early by stepping on the mine, that kind of thing. I don't understand why you didn't.
The thing was actually really funny though with the guy with the arrows. When it came over and rolled towards him, I was like, "Wait, you didn't pull the spoon." And they were like, "Did you seriously pull the pin?" I was like, "Oh god, I noticed that because I know how grenades work." Hold on, take it out this time.
I remember the first time I saw it, like the firearms explosives fun guy, and he was looking at it like, really, guys? Come on. There's got to be a prop master on here. Somebody editing had to look at that and be like, you didn't pull the pin. Everybody's going to fucking notice this. And then they were like, did you pull the pin? I was like, oh, okay, it's the joke. Okay, I get it now. I'm with it.
I was the joke. And like when the dude, she puts that rifle in the dude's face and he yoinks the magazine out, I was like, there's still one in there, dipshit. And she even like checks it like, yeah, boom. Like, yeah, there's still one in there. That's how a gun works. That was part of the joke that guy was a liberal, probably didn't understand how the gun worked. And
well, I mean, another thing about the plot is this fucking Sergeant Dale, which is a funny name for the guy. I'll explain why later. It's like, I don't give a shit if he was just some weekend warrior that was training them. He did not train them to understand some basic firearm knowledge that on a chambered weapon, even if you drop the mag, there's one in the chamber.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
this guy, who apparently they've all been training for a long time about how to
Well,
go. He pulls the mag out and smiles like, "Ha ha! I got all your bullets." He's not going to know there's one in the chamber. I mean, come on.
if I had to guess on that, though, I mean, there are some makes of pistol that if you pull out the magazine, it won't fire. Whoever wrote, like when they wrote this, that they may have had some kind of piece of knowledge like that in mind, and they thought, "Oh, I'm gonna show how much I know about guns by saying this." When in reality, they were kind of like not even half right, but like a third right, and they cut they fucked up the rest. But I mean, what did we learn from Alec Baldwin? You always check the fucking chamber. Jesus Christ, come on, man. What's going on?
But at least in that bunker, we had, at least in the
Right.
bunker, though, we had all sorts of equality. That was one of the funniest
Hey,
goddamn things.
This is how you know if you're ever in the presence of somebody with a firearm. This is how you know if they're a gun guy or not. Every person who's spent 5 seconds around a gun, they will play the game of hot or cold, which they take the weapon and check to see if one is chambered or not to know what they're dealing. Every gun person will do this. Just heads up, by the way. Just so you
No, I was gonna say that was one of the funnier kills when the lady got hit and she's on the ground. She's like,
know.
you can't kill her because she's a woman, miss. Do you think you deserve mercy just because you're a woman? No. Bam. I'm like, okay, thank you.
But you see, that's where they had the good writing, though. Like,
yeah, that was good.
They were making fun of just the ridiculousness of political correctness and all that. I mean, yeah, it was way over the top. It was very comical.
It was almost goofy.
Yeah, but that's
we used all the words and we said them all in a sentence, and then it felt really forced and awkward. But we said them. I was like, yeah, that's why it ruined it for me, because I'm like,
the whole time when they're in the room planning who they're going to get, stuff like that, and they're biting each other. He's like, "Is that a kimono? That's appropriation." It's like I was kind of thinking,
I'm Arabic. I'm from Connecticut. This was your idea, dude.
I was like, let's make extreme fun of this because it makes perfect sense. Why not? That's the whole point of this movie, that everybody in their extreme views is kind of dumb in a way. They're not, the center is usually where the logic is. So, yeah. So I especially the conversation they were having after Ike Barinholtz and all them get killed in the mom and pop store, and they're cleaning up, and she's talking to all this. They're talking to one another. She's like, "You can't say black people; they're people of color." He goes, "It's okay to call them black people now. NPR said so."
Hey, I can't keep up with all the new acronyms and little people midgets. I don't know what's acceptable anymore. So I'm going to call you whatever I want, and it's up to you to deal with it. So it's kind of how I feel.
What else be like, you go do this, and they're like, "Why are you calling me you?" I was like, "Because I have no idea what of the 9,000 pronouns you go by."
I'm sorry, but I do not play the pronoun game. If you want to play make believe, you go right ahead, but don't expect me to contribute. Whatever.
Well, I thought the woman was even kind of annoying because he's like, "Come on, guys." She's like, "Guys, really?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I misgendered it." I'm like, "Dude, shut up."
No, he said I gendered it. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm
sorry."
I
gendered it. I'm like, "Really? We're doing that?"
And also, I know for a fact that like the one guy who goes to take a piss and gets his throat cut by Betty Gilpin, I'm like, I know for a fact, just looking at him, I'm like, this is one of those guys that's like, I'm never going to handle a gun. That's bad. Right. he wouldn't have agreed to do this kind of thing because he's a great big pussy. He doesn't want to handle a rifle.
There's nothing worse than a male feminist. They are the worst people on the planet. So I was glad to watch them die. Whatever.
I think the only other thing that's a big facet of any movie that I would definitely change is the fucking music in this movie. I'm like, why was it so intense, pumping to 100 when nothing is happening? I was like, this doesn't like music is a very important part, if not like a character or like a very big part of your movie. And I'm like, this music does not fucking fit this movie at all. Because you can have the same scene, you could have two different types of music thrown over it, and it will give you a completely different feel. And it's all about making it seem like it fits the scene or the mood, the tension, whatever the hell's going on. And I'm like, why is so much intense shit happening? Because Emma Roberts is pulling off a gag off of everybody. I'm like, can we pump the fucking brakes a second? Like, give some somber, like mysterious, I'm like, while I like opening kills in movies, I was kind of like, I would have been more intrigued by the mystery of like what the hell was going on if you just started with them waking up because you're like, oh my God, where are they? Who are these people? What's going on? What's in the crate? A pig and some guns. Okay. But no, you had this like really intense pumping ass music for no reason. I was like, okay, I don't know who did the music for this, but I'm gonna say it to your face, you suck. I'm sorry, you just it didn't. I mean, that comes from a guy who's in band for like 8 years. I'm like, it didn't make any damn sense to me, and I'm like, that's an important facet to a movie that I think just didn't make any sense to me. I don't know. That's just being a nitpicky asshole.
I get it.
I'm just saying, you hear the Pirates of the Caribbean theme pumping up, and they're doing some cool shit. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to do that when you're just sitting around talking about pirate stuff and it's still just pumping in your ear. I'm like, yeah, you have some slower paced kind of something going on in the background, but it didn't really work for me on that front.
Yeah, I have to, every time there's multiple deaths in a movie, I want to ask you guys this because we all love our visual stuff so much, especially text. But I'll go to you first, Jeremy. What was your favorite death in this movie?
But they
could a few.
It's like, screw you. I watched Dead Meat James. It was 22.
See, we can't play that game anymore because he cheats and goes off somebody else's homework.
I do not. He only does horror movies.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Oh yeah, it's bullshit. But like when Wikipedia says like, well, but actually there was like 37 because if you count, shut up. You're never right.
Are you making fun of my homework? I take notes. I do my own homework. I don't copy other people. Thank you very much.
Hey,
we're gonna fight.
You get. Oh, that field in Croatia is looking real nice this time of year. Well, you know what the fucked up thing is? I think all three of us would end up there. To be fair, probably. The favorite kill? Oh man. I guess it was kind of a twofer, right? When the dude stepped on the mine, it was him and the girl who fell in the spike pit who died.
Yeah.
That visually, that was actually pretty fun. I mean, if not just for that is a real moment. We keep hanging on it, like where he just goes like almost like fuck, and then just dies. I'm like that.
I really like the fact that when the mine blows up, you see her legs fly towards camera.
Yeah, it just like flies off. Yeah, and she still ends up back in the pit, which really sucks. That, or I think you did get a picture. I think the dude getting a grenade thrown down his pants was pretty damn funny too. That's a fucking terrible way to die, but that, if not, I mean, go out with a bang, dude. That was pretty good.
I'm not sure if a grenade would do that in real life, but fucking hey, I'm down for you.
No, again, I was like, whatever. You wouldn't die like that, but sure, whatever.
I'll take it for the purpose of this movie because it just looks great on celluloid. You know what I mean? I don't know. Tex, what about you? You're the expert in death and dismemberment. What's your favorite?
Well, for me, it's a tie between three. Technically two or one. It's either grenade to the dick, which you just covered because that's just fucking funny. I don't care what
That was great.
Or it's Snowflake getting spike pitted and then, self-deleting herself, calling the guy a pussy face. Like, that was some, I know that's some crap writing and not very good acting, but that scene, bravo, that may be the best scene in the movie. So one of those two was tremendous. I liked that.
I don't know. I like the simplicity of like a good trap, something straight out of like what the Vietnam soldiers would have done, the VC would have done.
Yeah.
Bungee sticks.
Yeah.
I
mean, a shotgun blast in the chest, it's a classic. One of my favorites, though, it's not overly graphic, but I think it's wildly fitting. I really love when the good guy has a conversation with one of the bad guys right before they put his fucking forehead. And I kind of really like this conversation with
a bonding moment
for a minute because like the back and forth and stuff. Because this is again one of the really good pieces of writing where you finally kind of get her background. This is really the only place where you find out kind of who she is, because you spend all the movie to this point wondering why is she basically like fucking Rambo and John Wick?
Mm-hmm.
How does this girl who's working at a rental car place in Paducah, Mississippi, how is she so tactically skilled? And he's like, "Did you serve?" She goes, "Yeah, Afghanistan." And he was like, "Oh shit!"
You were in it.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of shit that she was getting in Afghanistan, but I mean, yeah, she was an ass kicker through and through. So I did like this dialogue. It's some of that great dialogue between the good guy and the bad guy before one of them finally finishes the other one off. I thought that was a lot of fun. And watching her get her. You want to know what a good piece of fun trivia? I don't think I put it in here, although I thought it was kind of funny. Despite getting top billing, Emma Roberts is the first one to get whacked. I think something like what she has a total of, I think 5 minutes of screen time or something like that.
If that, yeah. I think it's that
Well,
funny
yeah,
thing
because
with Scream, it's like you have Drew Barrymore.
That's what I'm saying. That's the they
joke.
literally got a Scream star to do a Scream opening, Drew Barrymore type kill. I thought it worked great, and she was even bleached blonde like Drew Barrymore was. So maybe nostalgia bait. I don't know, but it works.
But one of my favorite visuals of a dead body in this is when you open up the trunk and you get to see Ethan Suplee in there.
Yeah.
And the whole conversation, the story that she tells about the jackrabbit, the tortoise, and all that shit, I was like, wow, this is so good, because it's like we've all heard the story of the hair, the tortoise, and the haare.
Did you say, is the tortoise and the hair like copyrighted so they couldn't use it or something? I don't know if that's.
Well, no, I just think I don't remember that part of the story.
I think the whole point of using that story was that they wanted to tack on that stuff at the end, which makes it all so fucking fun. Which he's like, oh yeah, so the tortoise beats the hare, but then the hare showed up at the tortoise's house. Like,
well, I mean, because they straight up quote like a Animal Farm towards the end of the movie as well, so. I didn't know if Tortoise and the Hare was copyrighted, like they couldn't say it or something.
Oh no, that story is well over 100 years old. That's got to be fair use. Mm-hmm. But I mean, at the same time, it's like you don't tell the story for the story. You tell the story for that stinger at the end where she adds it on. She's like, "Oh, but then the hare shows up with the baseball bat and beats the tortoise's family to death while he watches." I'm like, "Damn, that is."
And then he eats all their food like an asshole.
Food, which leads to that great scene, which leads to all that great stuff after the fight, which I thought was fucking beautiful. But
yeah, the rabbit just shows up and that fucking look she gives it like, what the okay, nope. She's like, I'm gonna get out, make a grilled cheese, and peace out. Bye.
But let's talk about that final fight scene, which by far is one of the best. It's probably the best sequence in this entire movie. I mean, there was a couple of good ones, but this one is just so badass. Something straight out of a good Tarantino fucking Kill Bill flick. I'll go to you first, Tex. What do you think of the final fight? Did it live up? I mean, was it worth it for you? Was the explosion of all that cool shit worth the build up for the movie?
I liked it because, I mean, obviously she starts off getting to the house and, she's got to, she has to disassemble the firearm at the gate. We walk in and we see all the suspects and everything else. And then the fighting starts, and it's like we've said on here a couple times, it's, Kill Bill via, this movie. And the choreography was fantastic in this movie. I don't know who did this, but the way the house, I don't know if this was a real house or a soundstage. I didn't have a lot of time to look up and study things. I don't know. But the way they flowed through the house, it was all done very well. The choreography was great. The kill spots worked. I kind of wanted Hilary Swank to go into the fireplace and burn up a little bit. I didn't get that, but whatever, it is what it is. That's the gore nut in it. But it was cool to see like this, real nice, cushy kind of place, and just absolute chaos. Now, I don't know if the only thing that questions me is kind of go back to the previous Scream movie where Chad got stabbed like 15 times in the chest, and somehow he lived, right? And the blows that Crystal takes in this movie, I'm not sure she would have been able to live through those. But you know what? I'll let it go because, as y'all stated, the writing's not as great in this movie. So,
but look, people have survived crazy injuries before.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
50 Cent got shot 27 times, and not one of those bullets found a vital organ. So, I mean,
right. Well, and that's what I'm saying. But the choreography itself, though, it very kind of old school martial arts done. I like how they played it out, and it was the way they finished it off. I did not expect to see coming, but I thought it was good. It worked.
Jeremy, what about you? Did you like the final fight scene? Would you have done anything different? I thought it was pretty dope.
So this is where I'm sitting there just like bouncing. I'm getting giddy because I'm like, text like, well, I don't know if it was a soundstage or it was a real house or I don't know who did this. And I'm sitting there like, wow, you made fun of me for copying Dead Meat James's homework, but he fucking laid that whole thing out. I know the answer to every one of your questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I copied and still got the right answers. Fuck you, I got
And this is where the rivalry starts. It's about to go
no,
down.
it's worth watching that because he does explain some of the stuff, and it's cool to see behind the scenes. They did build that house, I believe he said, like on a set, and it was specifically made that way so that, like he was saying, like
Okay.
it all did serve a purpose. They're like, no, they planned this out. They're like, we're gonna go here. They had a drawing. It was
Well, it worked
mapped
perfectly.
out.
I mean,
Yeah, and I'm like, they did it on like they really put all the time and effort to that, and it had like the stunt coordinators, and like there was 2 or 3 people doing it, and there was obviously people like, Hilary Swank didn't really jump through the fire, but like they're like, I think they're
No,
like
of
both of these two ladies did like most of the fighting because, I mean, Hilary Swank did like $1 Million Baby, and obviously we've
she said she was in a boxing movie like 20 years ago. So
yeah, I'm like both of these actors are no damn joke, and they really just went for it. And yeah, it was all made to make sense for this big ridiculous fight they had. And even I think the thing that did actually make me chuckle was like when she throws her ass through the glass window, then she goes to throw it through the next door. She's like, no
more glass.
Opens the door and they walk.
Which I thought was funny. She's like, no more glass.
No more. Yeah,
they took a break in the middle of fighting to catch their breath. That shows. See, men wouldn't do that. Men would be like, I don't care if I have no breath in my lungs. I will rip your throat out. The ladies take a break.
Through the window. And she's just like, hold on. Yeah. Hold on a second. Roll over. Okay, here we go. Yeah. No, it worked. And there was a lot of unconventional stuff like the, was it a meat thermometer or something? And then like a fucking food processor blade. I was like, damn.
Once you watch Thanksgiving, you'll never look at a meat thermometer the same. It changes.
Some of these movies are just like ruining everyday objects for me.
You can't even go to the store and buy cooking utensils after Evil Dead Rise and Thanksgiving. They have just ruined that whole aisle.
No, you guys are going to shred your own cheese. Screw you.
If a master taught me anything, isn't a chainsaw is always the right tool.
It is. Hey, a chainsaw. Chainsaw. Toby Hooper taught us this in 1974. I listened. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. That's right. So.
Yeah, no, I think the fight was a lot of fun, and I was getting some They Live vibes. Like I said, it was just drawn out, ridiculous, and just over the top, but it all served a purpose to flow through this whole house, just to wreck through everything. So it was fun.
It's something that will make Tex very happy because we all know he's in the girl power. The final fight was actually a choreographed by 5 women.
Fuck you,
Maker was the lead who got input from both actresses, Betty Gilpin and Hilary Swank, and their respective stunt doubles. So that entire fight sequence was played by 5.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm all about girls
from Dead Meat. It was mostly women doing it. It was cool.
I'm all about girls powering on the oven to cook my supper. That's girl power. Go. That's fine with me. Let's do this.
Hey, she didn't fuck up she was still able to make her grilled cheese, so she's still good there.
I just love the end. The ending was so fucking fitting. Not just the whole rabbit at the fucking end, but it's like her eating her fucking sandwich, and then not only
that was kind of the fuck you at the end.
Yeah, and then she not only does that.
She drank the expensive wine. Yeah.
He drinks the fucking wine. Where's the other good picture I had that really made me fucking happy when I saw it? God damn, I can't find it now. I could have swore I had it in here. I don't know what to do with it. It must not have saved when I thought I did. Oh, here it is right here. I don't know why I didn't load up with my pictures. I don't know why it does that. But she not only beats her in the fight, she steals her. She gets showered. She gets her fucking dresses, steals her goddamn dog, and walks out with not only a gun, but with a $250,000 bottle of champagne. And gets on her fucking airplane and bounces. I was like, damn, that's like a perfect ending.
She even take any bullshit. She's like, look, I just want to fucking go home. Is that okay with you guys? Like, and I like the two.
I would have just lived there in the rich lady's house. She's dead. She doesn't need it anymore. Take her house. I would have took it all.
Been like, where's your credit card at, baby? Take one of those too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think even the flight attendants were pretty damn funny too, because there was that. duality of like the rich snobby guy from the beginning, like just kind of not making fun of the flight attendant girl, but he's like, you ever had caviar? And he was just being all like uppity about it and about the wine. And she was just like, no, I've never had that. And the complete opposite of Betty Gilpin being like, you ever tried this shit? No? Oh, it's fucking amazing. Like, she's like, I don't think I'm supposed to have the caviar. And she'd be like, nah, sit down. We're going to share this shit. Yeah, I was like,
you put in your time too. So you deserve
it's like, fuck it. Like, you deserve it. Like, go ahead. Yeah. That was a cool ending.
Yeah, I thought the ending was actually very well done for this film. I think it was a nice way to wrap the whole thing up. And then, of course, there was some good blood and a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and get to some of the trivia now. I'm actually really surprised I didn't find more trivia. I found some good nuggets, papers. But there were still some pretty good ones. Jeremy's favorite character, and I'm sorry I didn't get a picture of it. I really thought I did. Was
you
the
did get
Orwell? I did not get a picture of Orwell for some reason. I don't know why. But you can't really see him there. I think he's already gone. But let's see. The pig in the movie was actually treated as an equal on set, with it having full access to all catered meals.
That's amazing.
Take that.
I hope there weren't any pigs in a blanket or something. That would have been real awkward.
Take that, PETA. No pigs were harmed in the making of this movie.
Yeah,
I think it looked like some good bacon's what I saw.
I was like, when I shot him, I was like, well, there's pork chops and bacon for dinner, I guess. Shit.
I guess. Let's see. Another thing, that champagne, Athena's shipwreck champagne, is called Heidsick. It actually exists. The name also works as a play on words regarding the film's plot, hide and seek.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of
that's a deep cut.
But I have another piece of trivia on that. I'll actually go to that now. In July of 2010, a group of Swedish divers found 168 bottles from the 1830s aboard a shipwreck in the Baltic Sea off the coast of Åland. The bottles were initially claimed to have been produced between 1782 and 1788. They were sent for analysis, sent to France for analysis, where they were traced to a now defunct champagne house called Ugler.
That's cool as hell.
No shit. I actually looked it up. They sold for it was the equivalent of $250,000 American. It was something like 100,000 pounds or something like that, or some of the money they use over in Europe and stuff like that. So
that's ridiculous.
That is 100% true about the champagne, which kind of makes me wonder if that champagne's pretty good. You can actually go online and buy that company's champagne. They have not the expensive stuff, and it sells from anywhere from like $20 or $30 a bottle, which is kind of an average price, to as much as like $300 to $500 for like the really high end stuff, not including, of course, $250,000 a bottle stuff that she was imbibing after her great victory against Hilary Swank.
Deserved.
Hey, she took down the Karate Kid. I'd be celebrating too. Yeah, she did something else.
We don't talk about that one.
Actually, you know what? I've heard a lot of rumors.
Oh, there's flights to Croatia.
I've heard a lot of rumors. I'm kind of hoping to happen.
Right now.
The last part of the Cobra Kai is going to be coming out soon, if it's not out very soon. I think this month on Netflix. And she's really the only person from the Karate Kid movies that has not made some kind of an appearance. There's a lot of people saying that she's going to come back to make some kind of an appearance at the end. Probably not in the movie that's coming out, but in the last like 6 episodes that still have to come out for Cobra Kai.
Aren't they doing a movie too? Is that tied into it as well?
The movie, it has Daniel Russo, but it does not apparently have anything to do with the Cobra Kai TV series, which I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, wait, isn't there one?
So Ralph Macchio's in both then?
Yes, he's in both.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen, for those of you who've been watching Cobra Kai, I think what's going to happen is this weird mission that Daniel is on about figuring out Mr. Miyagi's past and the Saikai tournament and all that. I have a feeling that is not going to be resolved at the end of the series, and that's what takes him to China or Japan or wherever to meet Jackie Chan's character, who is probably a relation to Mr. Miyagi. I have a feeling that's where that's going, but we'll find that out.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. But I mean, we'll find that out soon enough. But guess who showed up? Guess who needs some attention?
No.
Casey.
Speaking of people who have said nonsensical flat Earth conspiracy theories, can they kidnap him too? Because that'd be great. I'd be down for that.
Of all the people that the aliens could kidnap and give an anal probe to, why not Casey?
Well, the alien Casey's too heavy. The alien rays can't pick him up, so that's why he hasn't gone yet.
It's got to be a strong tractor beam.
Yeah.
Franklin, what
Yeah,
shit in
that's-
the front yard?
You know what?
Yeah,
You
shit
go
in
ahead.
your
What?
Yeah, that's how you
Right.
get. That's how you get butt plugged. You know what that is? That's a 12 gauge up your ass.
Why do
know-
you?
How do you know I don't?
Why
have
do
a-
you want to take your pants off around Frank, Casey? That's kind of batting for the other team. You know what I'm saying? I'm detecting something.
How do you know I don't have one of these traps in my front yard, Casey?
There you go.
Take your chances, son.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
never
you
know.
take a squat in the wrong damn spot, you're gonna have a bad day. Or his best day. I don't know. I don't judge him. Sure.
He might- he
This
might
is say, I don't need to know his kinks. I'm good. I don't need to
Well,
know.
I mean, Dr. Nick lived off of this comment in case he makes
Ah.
Super NES games. So,
Oh, pretty soon he's gonna be shoving controllers up in there at this rate.
I'm sure he probably already has. But the military consultant in the film, his name is Sergeant Dale, says he was a military advisor on the movie Tears of the Sun. It was a Bruce Willis movie that came out in 2003. Senior military
Knows
advisor on that movie was uncredited, and his name was actually Cappy Surrett, who was a U.S. Navy captain during his military service. Also, I think the name is actually probably not a dig, but certainly an homage to Dale Dye, who has been the military advisor and has played bit parts in so many movies. Jeremy, you probably know who I'm talking about.
Probably yes.
The guy, who am I thinking of? There's so many freaking movies. The guy who plays General Y in JFK. Not Donald Sutherland's character, the guy he says is his boss.
No, he was
Yeah.
somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, Dale Dye has been. God, he's been in so many movies as a military advisor. God, that guy's. I've actually read a little bit about his career. That guy served a couple of tours in Vietnam. I don't know if he served in Korea or not. I think that was a little bit before his time. But he served overseas. He was a
That's
drill
old.
instructor. All kinds of crazy stuff. That guy's career is wild. But let's see the final fight scene between the two girls. Let me pull up one of my God, I didn't organize the pictures at all. The final fight scene between Crystal and Athena was described by screenwriters Nick Cuse and Damon Lindelof simply as John Wick in a Nancy Meyers movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what Nancy Myers is. But okay.
This one, I don't know. I think we kind of talked about it already in our talking. Crystal enacts the story she tells of Jackrabbit the Box Turtle with her as the Jackrabbit. After destroying all of her hunters who represent the Box Turtle, she eats the dinner, the grilled cheese sandwich made by Athena. But we kind of think we already touched on that as we were talking about it.
And that's why I had the quote, the Jackrabbit always wins.
I one of the things, I bet you I can find it somewhere. They've only really made one true to the book film based on The Most Dangerous Game, which I'm going to talk about here in this next one too. There's been lots of movies that have been kind of based around that idea, but I think there's only been one movie that I could think of where they tried to directly adapt it from the book, and that was a 1924 film. I think it was one of the first talkies. I would really like to try to find that and view it if
There's now it's obviously inspired by it, but The Condemned was Stone Cold Steve Austin, where basically like these prisoners get sent to an island and they have to fight to the death, and it's like televised and you can bet on them and whatever. It's
Sounds like
it
the
was
Running Man.
yeah, that's kind of what
pretty
Running Man
much
is, ultimately.
Yeah,
kind of similar.
But on that note, this film was partially inspired. It says partially, but kind of almost identically, by The Most Dangerous Game, 1924 short story by Richard Connell, and turned into the film of the same name, The Most Dangerous Game, from 1932. 1932 is when the film came out. Other films with similar premises include Turkey Shoot from 1984, Hard Target from 1993, which I remember seeing but don't remember much about it, Surviving the
I
Game
never heard that.
from 1994, The Eliminator from 2004, and quite possibly the greatest movie to come out of the 1990s, period, The Pet, starring John Leguizamo.
There you go.
Not what I would have chose, but okay.
Have you seen that movie, Jack?
No. I mean, the only thing when you say 90s and John Leguizamo, I'm like, yeah, the Super Mario Brothers movie. That was a good idea, wasn't
Well,
it?
no.
He saves his reputation with The Pest. That is one of the funniest movies.
Okay. I was like, I think he got there, obviously, in the end.
Tex, I think we had a kick out of it. It's got that fucking Jones guy that wasn't in the second Beetlejuice movie because he got busted for some stuff.
Oh, Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones. But Jeffrey Jones plays some creepy German guy who one
Wow.
by one has been taking different ethnicities of people to his island to hunt.
Oh, there you go.
Hunted all the animals in the world, and he apparently read the book Most Dangerous Game and decided, well, I'm going to hunt people now because I've hunted all the animals. So one by one, he's hunting different ethnicities. So he gets John Leguizamo in Miami and takes him to his island. He says, all you have to do is survive my island for 24 hours, and I'll give you $1 bajillion or whatever. And
I wish that could happen to me. Have some like rich dude be like, all right, takes me.
the whole movie,
So 24 hours, they'll make you rich.
the whole movie is not serious at all. It's basically a giant spoof. But there's so many
there you
really
go.
funny, hilarious scenes in it, especially when he's trying to. What's really funny is that John Leguizamo is like, super progressive, live woke, whatever. But he's a Mexican guy playing a Chinese guy at one part, trying to hide from the guy.
He's one dude playing another dude playing another dude.
Because he eventually escapes the island and goes back to Miami trying to get away because he's just like, I don't want the money, I just want to live. But Jeffrey Jones' character chases him to Miami and is still trying to kill him in Miami. So in order to hide from him, he like puts on a suit and goes into where a bunch of like Oriental guys are doing karaoke. He puts on a suit and he like does his eyes all funny and he goes over there and starts doing karaoke trying to hide. It's hilarious. But that's probably my favorite John Leguizamo role. It's so hilarious.
I like when it comes to John Leguizamo, the two that come to mind for me would be him and George Romero's Land of the Dead or The Summer of Sam. I don't know if y'all remember those or not.
Oh yeah, it's a good movie.
He was good in both of those.
Actually, also
go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I'll say also John Leguizamo in the 90s. I mean, he was obviously in that brilliant remade movie of
We
Romeo
can't
and
not
Juliet.
forget My Cousin Vinny too. That's one of the movies that my dad would watch on repeat. So I have to mention
That's
that.
a great movie. I tell you what,
Fred Gwynn makes it. Fred Gwynn makes that movie.
Oh yeah. Also, one of John Leguizamo's maybe one of his best roles ever, To Wong Fu, when he has to dress in drag with Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes.
Oh God, no! Keep the gay crap.
I don't care what you say. That movie's fucking hilarious.
That is actually a funny.
Why do you
movie.
want to? Why do you want to see Patrick Swayze dress up like a woman? What the hell? What's going on?
Because why not? Fun. Do you like God, who am I thinking of was in Priscilla Queen of the Desert? Not Viggo Mortensen. Who's the guy that plays Agent Smith? Why am I drawing a blank?
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, Weaving.
Yeah, right about the time that movie came out, Hugo Weaving and God, who else was in that fucking movie? Now I got it because it was not small name actors. Priscilla. Oh God damn it!
Like we don't all sit here and watch Boondock Saints and we watch Willem Dafoe getting dragged and
The
just fucking
Adventures
goes
of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's almost an identical movie. Hugo Weaving, Guy Pearce, and Terrence Stamp all dressed in drag.
Well,
Nice.
I guess I'm the only one here that once I start seeing fellers pretending to be ladies, I change the channel. But that's just how this house works. So it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, that movie. I saw it once, but
You're telling me White Chicks isn't funny? Come on.
yeah,
That shit is
I'm
hilarious.
good.
She's all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I don't think I
Come on.
ever saw that.
Come on. We all love Mrs. Doubtfire. Let's be
Oh
honest.
yeah. You ever watch MASH? You didn't laugh at Klinger in the first couple seasons of MASH, the first half.
Yeah, right.
He was dressed in drag trying to get out of the army. Come
Well,
on.
you know,
Have fun with it.
he at least had a good reason of wanting to get out of the Vietnam War, but I still don't approve of that behavior. He deserves a trip to the woodshed for that behavior.
MASH is owned by Fox, or was owned by Fox. Fox Entertainment was bought by Disney. Therefore, now Klinger is a Disney princess.
He's a Disney princess. I've heard that. Yep.
Where is Klinger's ride at Disneyland? It is racist that if he wasn't a white guy, he would have had his own ride by now.
It needs to
Racist
happen.
Disney.
Let's do it.
There you go.
I'm sure. I'm sure Frank's still jealous that I got to meet Jimmy Farr and Loretta Swit at a
I am
con.
insanely jealous that you got to meet those two.
I look
when you sent me those pictures, I looked at Jennifer. I was like, I really got to start going to these fucking things with Jeremy.
right.
Like,
I mean, I
he won't
look
get any younger. These are from my generation.
I look mildly composed, but I'm like, I was freaking the fuck out having Margaret Houlihan put her fucking arm around me. I was like, oh my god.
I'll be
This is
meeting
happening while we
celebrities
should.
this weekend too, actually. But I'll announce that at the end of the show. I can't wait.
And I got a fist bump from Klinger, so I mean that was pretty cool as I walked out. So
I just want to ask if he kept any of the dresses.
Right.
Tex,
Right.
I'll pay you in beer.
Well,
Leave this channel and show up on my channel.
Nah. Well, no, because I showed up to that photo booth. I was dressed as the PUBG guy, so I had the AK-47 in my hands, and the guy was like telling Jamie Farr, like, "Oh, don't mess with him." I was like, "No, I wouldn't mess with Klinger. He'd kick my ass in a dress." So I'm not. I'm not about to get my
Casey,
ass if I do.
I show up when I can. I was there for like 10 minutes when you were doing the Rumble thing. I just, I don't do Saturday nights anymore. So, sorry about your luck, brother. You know, what you going to do?
You don't want me to come on your channel either, Casey, because I'll make you look really dumb with how well I play video games.
He's going to pay you in beer when he doesn't tell you it's going to be Schlitz.
He'd probably try to pay me in for like Bud Light. That's not going to work for me. That's not.
It's not even going to be anything that good. It's going to be some local brewery that's just trying really, really hard to stay afloat. But let's see. Couple more pieces of trivia real quick, then we'll be done. Let me find another picture. I'll just pick this one. What the hell? It was believed that the film was going to be called Red State versus Blue State, but this was later denied by Universal, who stated that was never a working title at any time during production. I mean, it would have worked.
You couldn't do red versus blue because that was during Rooster Teeth.
Which may be one of the reasons why they didn't want to do Red State versus Blue State, because it does sound a lot like it.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have been a catchy title, though. I don't like that.
BJ popping in just a little late. One of the things the Dowager Countess said, I remember this because I saw this episode fairly recently. A lady gets where she's going precisely when she intends to. It's never late.
I'm pretty sure that was Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
No. I'm 100% certain that at some point Maggie Smith says that in Downton Abbey.
That's a Gandalf.
I'm 110%.
I'm calling
sure Gandalf said that. Right.
Although, to be perfectly honest, it's probably been said by several people in several movies. That's just the last
thing.
I'm pretty how does he say? Wizard is never late. He arrives exactly when he's supposed to.
Precisely when he means to.
Yeah, when he means to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Gandalf thing. I'm calling the copyright card. For Peter Jackson.
Like I said, it's probably been said in a million different movies. That's just the most recent time that I've heard it. But
hold on. I think Tex was throwing it up.
Flag.
There you go. I got one in there. I got you.
You know what? Tom Grossi actually has a clip where he throws a red flag too. I'll have to find that.
Ooh.
Like three flags.
Layers.
I can't wait till we do like an 80s, 90s thing again, and you two just go off for 45 minutes with meme wars and crap.
I told him I have a whole fucking list. I am ready.
That's going to be tremendous. I'm just going to go pop popcorn and watch these two tear each other apart. That's going to be awesome.
One of the thoughts I've had for the last couple of years, I never really tried to flesh it all out. Maybe me and Jeremy have to get together and work on this. Is doing like a bracket thing, where I'll take like March Madness. We'll kind of bracket it.
Yeah,
we'll have we'll seed them or something like that maybe, and then we'll like have an 80s versus a 90s movie, and then we'll just like one by one we'll get down to the maybe we'll have like 80s on to make sure that we have
I was like, you want to make sure
are we going like Sweet 16, 32, 24? Like what would be the number?
I don't know about 32. That seems like a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you don't have 32 movies from the 80s you could pick. Come on now.
I could easily pick 32 movies from the 80s.
Well, I could easily pick 32 from the 90s. Let's go.
But the problem with the idea is that if we do a bracket, we'd probably have to we'd spend probably 45 minutes doing like each particular game, and we wouldn't be able to do it all in one night. It would take a long time to do it because I've thought about doing this in March for a long time.
Well, and not just that, but you two can't just be the voters. You're going to need a few, at least 2 or 3 people to vote.
No, I have that figured out too. What we would do is I would beef it up. I would advertise the fuck out of it, and then me and Jeremy would have our debate about the individual movies, and then I would put a poll in the chat, and I would open it up and say, okay you guys have 15 minutes to vote, and then I'm closing the poll, and whichever one wins moves forward, and I would have the bracket done up, so that way we would put it to the viewer. But I really want to advertise it out and maybe try to use it as a way to get.
Well, that's something we could even like.
Channel, but
have you two present the choices. Maybe like I could be like I don't know, commentator, give thoughts. Maybe we could even bring in like Alex or Nick, Casey, somebody just as other voices on it, like make it big. You know what I mean? That'd be cool.
Or yeah, it's like instead of just having me and Jeremy, it's like maybe if there's a movie that Alex wants to defend and put out there, let Jeremy
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, open. I mean, if you want to go big with it,
have like American Werewolf come on, see if Nightwatch wants to come on.
Right?
Like a
couple,
going against. Have like him going to Jeremy or you or something like that. Like he can talk Scream and you could talk Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then do it that way. So yeah, that's that. I've had that idea in my head for a couple of years. I just never seem to get it together. I'm going to have to do that. Maybe not for this year, but certainly for next year. Do get a bigger field together? That's something I've had on my head.
I actually do content creation, and that's more outreach. Maybe
well, if we got let's say we did the three of us picked like 12 movies apiece, and we got either American Werewolf or Nightwatch or Alex or Nick, somebody. As long as we have an even number of picks separated by 4 or 5 people, really do like a March Madness bracket. Like there's ways to make this cool. I like this idea. This could be fun.
Man, the merch line will be so much fun. You can buy a shirt that says Team 80s or Team 90s. We can do it.
Right.
Like a 90s aesthetic and an 80s aesthetic.
I'll be the spoiler and pick like movies from both decades just to fuck with y'all. That'd be funny as hell.
You're gonna go with the 70s. Oh,
yeah. Texas would be like Chainsaw.
No,
baby,
I'm gonna go.
That is 70s.
Oh,
Chainsaw, Halloween, fucking Exorcist.
I would go 2000 to 2010 because there's some bangers in there. That's what I.
Yeah, you can do the 2000s. That's fair. Yeah.
Well, I'd go 2000.
Things started to get a little better mid 2000s. 2010 is when things started.
No, for horror. The early 2000s, they get overlooked criminally. There is so many good from 2000 to like 2009. There's some bangers in there, dude. So many good movies.
One more piece of trivia, then we'll probably cut out of here. Okay, I'm not going to ask you guys for the body count.
22.
I already know it because I counted it, and I didn't cheat by copying Dead Meat, Jeremy. I did my own homework.
I was trying to enjoy the movie.
Well, how many do you think, Tex? If you didn't cheat, if you were actually counting, how many do you think?
Right. I know exactly because I put a mark for every time a death happened. Sometimes a couple at a time happened. And sir, the number is 22. I double checked.
Right, and I still got there with less work. It's crazy how that works. We both passed the class. They didn't care how we got there.
We got to the same place. Texas took the longer route. Jeremy took the more direct route.
No, I took the honorable route. He took the not honorable route. Thank you very much.
He showed his work. I didn't do any of that shit.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun with you guys and piss you guys off right now. You're both wrong.
Well,
no, what bull crap.
You want me to tell you why you're both wrong?
Okay, go ahead.
It was actually 23. If
you
count Orwell the pig.
I was like, if you count the fucking pig.
People, no, animals don't count. No, animals.
No, it says, says body count. Does the pig not have a body? Does the pig not exist in
body form? Count would dictate human body. No, pig does not count. I'm throwing the challenge flag on that. I disagree with that.
I gotta scroll all the way down to get this shit now.
Yeah. Right, I was gonna get there. Yeah.
I'm challenged. I don't have a flag, but I will throw my Dr. Pepper bottle in challenge. Okay, that does not count.
You know, we used to get like flags to hold up so Jeremy can wave it and be like,
flag,
flag. Recount the death. I still think Orwell counts. I think the pig counts.
I disagree.
I mean, it says here 22, and it actually lists them. Randy, Yoga Pants, Bandana Man, on and on.
Snowflake, all of them. Yeah.
Very end it said, and if you count Orwell the pig, 23.
And see that right there. And if the fact that they even didn't include that does not count in the body count.
Does the pig not have a body?
The pig is food. The pig does not count.
What part of the pig's body are you eating when you're eating carnitas? When you're eating a pork
I will
chop,
eat bacon. Head to snout, I'm eating that mofo.
Body.
All right.
Body count. If he'd have killed a
You
horse,
must have a soul, i.e., human body, to count in the human death count. I don't care if you dress up like Spider Ham; it doesn't count in the body count. Got news.
You should have asked them. Okay, so what part of the human body do you eat? That's about as stupid as
Whichever
that
one
sounds.
is the most tasty. And I can get on my
When you
smoke.
get the most willpower to, because no, we're not going there. Like all those people that died or that in that plane crash. That was
go in the chat below. Let us know what you guys think.
Hey.
You count Orville the pig in the body count or not? I'm curious to think what you guys.
What?
What you guys
Don't discount the head. Do we not remember what the hitchhiker talked about how good head cheese was in the greatest film ever made, Texas Chainsaw Massacre? You can even do something with that. That's all I'm saying. Come on now.
I bring up the pig and you guys are all
emotional damage.
well, I just shook my head because I'm like, this is a stupid argument. I know he's just doing it to do it, so I'm like, I don't care, whatever.
But you're not engaging.
no.
You're not having fun with it. At least text.
No, because that's the thing is, I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, because I'm like, I'm not gonna.
At least I'm playing along a little bit here, my little. Come on now.
That's how you win the trolls. You don't fucking feed them. You don't feed the trolls.
Either way, I know I'm right because I didn't cheat like Jeremy. I actually done the homework, took notes. I was a good steward of the movie review process.
Dead Meat
Jeremy's
James
like,
did
oh,
his homework.
What did Dead Meat say? Whatever.
Because it's a fun follow up when you watch a movie. Fuck you. That's why. It's the first thing on our minds. Like, is there a kill count for this movie? I hope so.
Well, let me ask you this: Tex, have you ever read Cliff Notes?
In high school, yes, because I was
cheated too.
in high,
Oh my God, then you cheated.
yes,
Now, wait a
in
minute.
high school I did, but I take a movie reviewer as an honorable position. By God, I take notes. I write down multiple pages, and I find it very offensive for someone. Oh, well, let me just Google it. Click, click, click. That's basically what he did.
Get with the times, old
It's
man.
fine.
I just Googled it, man. You can go to your library and thumb through some books
Hey,
and smoke a pipe in your fucking study.
The
and
old
be like, all right,
ways
what is
are
it?
the best ways. That's all I'm saying.
You know what's
It's
funny?
fine.
I just pulled up Cliff Notes to see what kind of shit was here, and the first book that comes up is 1984 by George Orwell.
Ooh, boy.
There you go.
Tell me the
That's on
internet's
the
not
nose.
listening to everything you say.
Right.
Yeah, like I said,
how
we
else
start
do you
looking at
think?
shit like that. We're
How
gonna be
else
on
do
the
you
island.
think they found all the people in this movie? They just, followed their Googles. There you go.
Oh, goodness gracious. That seems like a good place to start wrapping this thing up. I think we've had a lot of fun tonight talking about this movie and the Jurassic World, whatever, Rebirth trailer.
With the dinosaur man.
The names are.
That is his name now, by the way. He's no longer gamer. He's dinosaur man. That's how I'll forever refer to him.
Thanks to my amazing co-host for being so awesome as always. I want to get your guys' final thoughts real quick before we get out here, though. Jeremy, give me your final thoughts on The Hunt from 2020.
Good popcorn movie. Just don't think about it too much because it will start to infuriate you. But it was fun. Betty Gilpin makes it fun. Like, she definitely makes this movie worth the watch.
Tex, how about you? Give me your final thoughts on The Hunt.
Yeah, stupid, mindless fun, lots of cool kills. Snowflake calls a guy a pussy for not shooting her. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, again, Betty Gilpin's awesome. If you haven't watched
Yes.
watched Glow on Netflix about the gorgeous ladies of
She
wrestling,
kind of looks like X-23 from the girl Wolverine a little bit. I kind of
Little
thought like
mean
Sophie
monkey, yeah.
King.
you
a
like
little
her
bit.
eyes. She's got some amazing eyes.
She kind of reminded me of Sophie King a little bit.
But yeah, it is available to watch on Prime. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it on there for free. It's also available. I think it was on either Max or Peacock. I forget which one.
I think it was Peacock.
Yeah, it was. I think
Peacock?
the first time I watched it was on Max. It might be on Peacock now, but it is available on Amazon Prime. It's free on Prime if you have a subscription. A lot of people do.
That was awesome.
Also on Peacock, as Jeremy said, so you can go watch it there.
I think it's
Go to watch it. It's fun. It's a fun movie. Yeah, there's holes in it. It's kind of goofy. It's borderline spoof. But if you don't if you just enjoy the fun they have with the satire, it's a really fun movie to watch. I've watched it a few times now just because it's become kind of a comfort movie that I enjoy. So go give it a watch if you get a chance. I think
No,
it's fun.
It's Sling TV. I lied. It's not Peacock. Sling TV.
Either way. There's a couple different places you can watch it,
Right.
or go
Me
buy it on,
slinging your cock around here, which is YouTube, by God.
or go buy it on physical media if that's your thing. But thanks to my amazing co-host for being so awesome, as always, starting with my hetero life mate, Jeremy. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
I'm always here. Now that Die Hard is passed, I'm here. So for whatever we're doing next, and as excuse me, as Gamer alluded to earlier in the stream, you might be seeing me pop up again in one of his skits. However, this time I'm not going to be the resident Ian Malcolm as I usually am on the channel, but I'll be another pretty important character to the series. So we're getting that in the works. I think I gave him a pretty good idea for a location and how it could all play out. So yeah, with this new movie coming out, I'm sure we're going to start making some stuff, and I'll be over there. So go check him out as well.
And the shape of Lone Star State, my man Tex, where can the folks at home find you, sir?
Well, this is a big movie weekend. Tomorrow night, obviously, Hard Eyes, the new slasher film coming out that I think we're going to review next week. I know we're all excited about it. Premieres, well, technically it's premiering now, but I'll be seeing it tomorrow. And then Saturday night at the Texas Theater, the very theater where Lee Harvey Oswald went after he didn't shoot Kennedy, I'm going to be there Saturday night. Joe Bob Briggs, the horror legend himself, the movie reviewer of Grapevine, Texas, host of The Last Drive-In, Monster Vision, so many cool things, is doing a live indoor drive-in night. They're going to show Bubba Hotep in Rock and Roll High School. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to get to meet them, take pictures, autographs. Darcy the Mail Girl's also going to be there. So, I can't wait. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun Saturday night.
Nice.
I will be back here probably, since one person voted for me to do it, I will be back here on Sunday, because why the hell not? I don't know if Tex will be here. Maybe I'll just be doing this by myself. I don't know. There is still going to be some trailers. I'm kind of interested. Super Bowl is on Sunday. So
I can't promise. I can't promise anything, and probably not. So don't count on it.
I won't be there.
I may do a little bit of a hangout. I will see. Brooding Gamer says it's past y'all's bedtime. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I do have plans Sunday, so I don't count on me to be here. I'll try my best to pop in. So.
Van Edwards, good to see you, buddy. Using that word that Tex like to use a lot in his everyday speech. No, it's.
Oh, I do. I love that word. That is a tremendous word.
I'll say it in joking form, but never in a serious form. And then, of course,
I'll see you next Tuesday, Frank. All right, I'll see you next Tuesday. That's what I got to say about that.
Do you know how bad, if I start making content, I want that to be my outro because it'll be so goddamn funny? I just end with, all right, I'll see y'all next Tuesday. It's like, if you get it, you get what I'm saying.
Right?
See you next Tuesday.
Hey, there are no bad words. You put bad intentions and feelings on words. That's a you problem, not a me.
So, I'm like, I just genuinely will see you next Tuesday. It's in my name. I don't know what
there you go. I like it.
Hell yeah. And then, of course, BJ coming in, giving us a little bit more class before we get out of here. We will be back here on, like I said, I'll be back here on Sunday, probably doing a little bit of a hangout. If that game gets too unwatchable, which it already kind of is, I will at least be, bare minimum, I will at least be doing some reactions to any new trailers that pop up.
Just trailers.
Van Edwards saying, good to see you.
I hope everybody loses on Sunday. That's what I have.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. We all know how
you guys
games
share the same
Sunday.
sentiment I always do. I'm like,
we all know how it's going to go Sunday. It's going to be a close game. In the last 2 or 3 minutes, there's going to be a terrible.
The Chiefs are going to come back,
and the Chiefs are going to win. That's how every important Chiefs game ends. So, like, part of me is just like, why bother? It's like we all know.
I've seen this movie before. It's got the same script as every other Chiefs game. I've seen it before.
But I know one movie that's coming out this weekend that Jennifer really wants to go see. My girlfriend is really into this. Love Hurts is coming out. So right now,
that's also this weekend.
That's also this weekend. I've got plans.
I'll be seeing Hard Eyes.
I've got plans for that on Tuesday, and I think I can move what we're doing on Thursday to do Hard Eyes. I know I can move what we're doing on Thursday to do Hard Eyes.
I will so have a double feature. I'm excited for this movie and Hard Eyes, man. There's, like I said,
I don't really care about Love Hurts, but Hard Eyes, I'm all about. I'll see him.
I'm thinking next week will be Love Hurts, then Hard Eyes. That's what next week's going to look like. That's what I'm looking at right now as I look at our broadcast schedule. And then of course next week after that, Captain America: Brave New World is going to come out. Then we'll dip back into some more of the horror stuff, which I'm sure is going to make the deplorable Texifier very, very happy. Yeah, come back, share the channel.
Get bloody, both of us.
Do all the stuff that YouTubers ask you to do, like, share the channel, do all that stuff, help us out. YouTube does absolutely nothing to help us out. I refuse to apply for YouTube monetization. I don't care how big this channel gets.
Unsubscribe from Casey as well.
Unsubscribe to Casey because somehow he managed to overtake us in subscribers again. I personally think that he's got all of his relatives filling out fake channels now. He's probably buying them. You can go to like Fiverr and have like.
You think his relatives are smart enough to work technology?
I don't.
Come on.
I think he's going to Fiverr and he's like paying $20 for like 100 subscribers that don't actually watch. They watch like a minute of his show and then they're bought down. I don't know, probably something like that. I don't know. It sounds like the kind of thing Casey would do just to get
Hey, and always remember, go sports.
Go sports.
Thank you.
Go sports ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much have Rachel's point of view on this game. I'm like, go.
I would say go Cowboys, but it'll be another 30 years before we're in the Super Bowl. So I'm very broken-hearted.
Tough football year. Football ended for me about week 7, week 8. I kind of stopped.
Yep, me too. Yep.
But thanks to all of you for coming around and hanging out. I very much appreciate it. Yes, Dr. Nick, Casey was here off and on a little bit ago, but I think now he's playing some side-scrollers video game from 1932 or something like that, hoping to build up his fan base because he can't play anything real. He only plays Fortnite when me and Jeremy are there to carry him. So whatever.
He cheats at the video games that he if he can't cheat, he rage quits. So that's kind of how he works.
Pretty much. But thanks to all of you for coming hang out. We very much appreciate it. We'll see you on Sunday as I maybe watch Super Bowl. Till then, adios.
Bye, bitch.
I mean, this movie could have been better. You know what? They should have put Casey out there, made him the pig. Ooh, we're gonna start calling Casey Orwell now.
Oh, Casey is our Orwell.
Orwell.
Oh, that is amazing.
Oh, we gotta get the farmer going. That'll do, pig. Every time he comes in here.
I'm gonna
Lord got deep
right now and say, hey, we need to put another intro for Casey for Orwell.
We need to have a congregation meeting with Alex and the Garbage Man. We need to teamwork this thing together. We need to get this, everywhere.
Damn right. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.